Discipline and motivation are the engines behind every goal, from sticking to a morning routine to building a career. The science behind them isn't just catchy self-help advice. It's a deep dive into how our brains, habits, and environments shape what we achieve. This story starts over 2,000 years ago with ancient philosophers who wrestled with why humans struggle to do what they know is right. Aristotle, the Greek thinker, saw discipline as a path to virtue. He believed people could train their will to choose reason over impulse, much like a craftsman hones a skill. A farmer waking at dawn to tend crops wasn't born loving early mornings. He built that habit through repetition. The Stoics, like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, took this further. They practiced daily rituals, journaling, meditation, structured schedules, to master emotions and focus on what they could control. Their writings read like early guides to discipline, emphasizing consistency over fleeting passion. Motivation was less clear back then. The Greeks tied it to divine inspiration, like a poet struck by a muse. It wasn't a process you could study, but a spark from somewhere beyond. Still, these ideas framed discipline as a skill you could build and motivation as a force you could harness, even if the ancients lacked the tools to explain why. In the Middle Ages, religious traditions added new depth. Monks followed strict routines, prayer at dawn, manual labor, silent study, to cultivate discipline. Their motivation often came from faith, a higher purpose that kept them going through grueling days. These practices showed how structure and belief could shape behavior, setting the stage for science to take over. The 19th century brought psychology into the picture, turning discipline and motivation into subjects you could measure. William James, a Harvard psychologist, argued that discipline wasn't about brute force, but about automating habits. He believed the brain could be programmed through repetition. Brush your teeth every night, and soon it's automatic. James's 1890 book, Principles of Psychology, laid out how habits form neural pathways, making actions easier over time. This was a game changer. Discipline wasn't a moral gift, but a trainable process. Around the same time, Ivan Pavlov's experiments with dogs showed how rewards could trigger behavior. His dogs salivated at the sound of a bell tied to food, suggesting motivation might stem from external cues. A worker might push harder for a paycheck, just as Pavlov's dogs responded to a signal. The early 20th century saw behaviorism take hold. B.F. Skinner's work with animals, and later humans, showed how rewards and punishments shape actions. In his 1938 book, The Behavior of Organisms, Skinner demonstrated that positive reinforcement, like giving a rat food for pressing a lever, could build reliable habits. Discipline, he argued, came from setting up consistent rewards. Think of students studying for good grades. Motivation followed the same logic. Create the right incentives, and people move. Skinner's ideas influenced everything from education to advertising, offering a blueprint for engineering behavior. But behaviorism had limits. It ignored thoughts, emotions, and individual differences, treating humans like predictable machines. By the 1960s, cognitive psychology shifted the focus. Albert Bandura's concept of self-efficacy showed that believing in your ability to succeed drives motivation. His 1977 study on self-efficacy found that people with higher confidence in their skills were more likely to persist through challenges. A runner who believes they can finish a race trains harder than one who doubts themselves. Bandura's famous Bobo doll experiment also showed how we learn by watching others. See a friend crush a goal, and you're inspired to try. This added a social layer to motivation, moving beyond Skinner's rewards. Discipline, too, got a cognitive spin. Instead of just drilling habits, you could plan strategically, set clear goals, visualize outcomes, and anticipate obstacles. The brain science boom of the 1980s and 90s brought hard evidence. Functional MRI scans revealed that discipline relies on the prefrontal cortex, the brain's hub for planning, focus, and impulse control. A 1990 study in Nature mapped how this region activates when people resist temptation, like skipping dessert. Motivation, meanwhile, lights up the reward system, particularly the nucleus accumbens, where dopamine creates a feel-good rush. A 1998 study in Science showed dopamine spikes not just when you achieve a goal, but when you anticipate it, explaining why planning feels exciting. Researchers like Roy Baumeister introduced ego depletion, the idea that willpower is a finite resource. His 1998 experiments found that after tough mental tasks, people struggled with self-control, like choosing salad over pizza. Later studies, like a 2010 meta-analysis in Psychological Bulletin, questioned ego depletion's universality, suggesting mindset or energy levels matter more. This brings us to practical steps for building discipline and achieving goals grounded in science. First, start small and specific. Vague goals like get fit don't work. Your brain needs clarity. A 2009 study in Journal of Consumer Research found specific goals like run 3 miles every Monday, boost commitment by activating the brain's reward system. Pick one goal, make it measurable, and write it down. Second, create a habit loop. Charles Duhigg's 2012 book, The Power of Habit, describes a cycle of cue, routine, reward. Want to read daily? Set a cue, like placing a book on your pillow, follow with the routine of reading 10 pages, and reward yourself with a small treat, like a favorite tea. A 2015 study in health psychology showed habit loops make behaviors stick by automating them. Third, shape your environment. A 2013 study in Psychological Science found that distractions, like a buzzing phone, cut focus by 20%. Clear your desk, turn off notifications, and keep tools for your goal, like gym clothes, visible. Fourth, lean on social accountability. Bandura's work shows we're motivated by others. A 2016 study in management science found people who shared goals with friends were 33% more likely to succeed. Tell a trusted friend your plan or join a group, like a book club or running team. Fifth, prioritize energy. Baumeister's research ties discipline to glucose and sleep. A 2014 study in sleep showed less than 7 hours of sleep impairs prefrontal cortex function. Eat balanced meals and aim for 7 to 8 hours of rest. Sixth, embrace a growth mindset. Carol Dweck's 2006 book Mindset shows that believing effort beats talent fuels persistence. A 2018 study in Nature found students with a growth mindset improved grades by 15% over a year. When you fail, see it as a chance to learn, not a dead end. Seventh, track progress and celebrate small wins. A 2019 study in Journal of Personality and Social Psychology showed that tracking progress, like marking a calendar for each workout, boosts motivation by signaling achievement. Reward yourself with something small, a coffee, a movie night, to keep dopamine flowing. Finally, plan for setbacks. A 2017 study in behavioral science found that anticipating obstacles, like scheduling workouts around a busy week, increases success by 25%. Make a backup plan, like a quick home workout if you miss the gym. Modern science builds on these insights. Neuroscience shows meditation can thicken the prefrontal cortex, improving focus. A 2020 study in Neuroimage found 8 weeks of mindfulness practice increased discipline in 70% of participants. Apps like Headspace make this accessible. Wearables like Fitbit track habits, turning data into motivation. A 2022 study in Journal of Medical Internet Research showed wearable users exercise 30% more consistently. But technology cuts both ways. Social media and games hijack dopamine, making discipline harder. A 2023 study in Computers and Human Behavior found people check phones 200 times daily, each ping draining willpower. Multitasking also hurts. A 2014 study in Journal of Experimental Psychology showed it reduces productivity by up to 40%. The legacy of this science is a roadmap for action. Discipline isn't about being perfect, it's about systems. Motivation isn't a rare spark, it's a cycle you can design. Ancient thinkers like Aristotle intuited this, but today's tools, brain scans, studies, apps, give us precision. Recent research explores new angles. A 2024 study in Frontiers in Psychology found gratitude journals boost motivation by focusing the brain on positive rewards. Another in Nature Human Behavior tested AI-driven habit trackers, showing 20% better adherence than traditional methods. Companies like Google use these insights, designing offices with quiet zones and healthy snacks to support focus. Even schools apply them, teaching kids growth mindset to build resilience. Here's how to tie it all together. Pick a goal, say, writing a book. Step 1. Make it specific, like write 500 words daily. Step 2. Set a cue, like a morning coffee, and reward yourself with a break after writing. Step 3. Clear distractions. Put your phone in another room. Step 4. Tell a friend or join a writing group. Step 5. Sleep well and eat to keep energy high. Step 6. View rejections as learning, not failure. Step 7. Track word counts and celebrate milestones, like finishing a chapter. Step 8. Plan for busy days with a fallback, like writing 200 words instead. These steps, backed by science, turn big goals into manageable habits. The science of discipline and motivation shows we're not slaves to whim. Build systems, understand your brain, and lean on small wins. Failure is just feedback, and persistence beats talent every time. From ancient philosophy to cutting-edge research, this story proves you can shape your path, one deliberate step at a time.